Between expressing the happiest time in their life to possibly their scariest. An actor's job on set is to convince you they are not who they are, but who their character is. That is, a real person experiencing real joy.
What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again.
Real anger.
You wait and be patient. The Nine Realms laugh at us. The old ways are done. You'd stand giving speeches while Asgard falls.
You are a vain, greedy, cruel boy!
And you are an old man and a fool!
Or real fear.
Dad?
Jay, can you open the door?
He's in the house.
What's going on? There's nothing in the house, Jay.
I saw it.
Open the door, okay?
Good directors are there to help bring out their talents, and some will do whatever it takes to get the actor's best performance. But what if directors didn't need actors to act? What better way to show that a character is shocked than to actually shock the actors? Today we will be taking a look at a day on set during the filming of one of the most influential sci-fi horror movies ever made. When, during an iconic scene, the actors were just as struck with fear as their characters were. I'm James Diddick, and this is A Day on Set. In space, no one can hear you scream. That was the tagline for 1979's sci-fi horror movie Alien. In a time when sci-fi meant light-hearted fantasy like Star Wars or adventures like Star Trek, Alien broke critics' expectations and had audiences truly terrified. Even today, it is regarded as one of the greatest horror movies of all time. In conjunction with Ridley Scott's masterful cinematography, the set design, and special effects, you can't help but feel isolated and nervous about what could be around the next corner. The various sets were built from old aircraft parts and electrical equipment. It was sculpted and painted to look less like a sleek and squeaky clean ship that was typical in sci-fi movies. In Alien, the Nostromo wasn't the USS Enterprise from Star Trek. It was too dimly lit. It wasn't the Imperial Star Destroyers from Star Wars, it was too claustrophobic and cramped. Nor was it Discovery 1, a science vessel, housing a crew of scientists on a mission for the benefit of mankind in Space Odyssey. The Nostromo was an old and clunky industrial ship, home to a crew of regular blue-collar workers. This blue-collar crew is, of course, Third Officer Ellen Ripley, played by Sigourney Weaver, Captain Arthur Dallas, Tom Skerritt, Navigator Joan Lambert, Veronica Cartwright, Chief Engineer Dennis Parker, Yaphet Kotto, Engineering Technician Brett, Harry Dean Stanton, Science Officer Ash, Ian Holm, and Executive Officer / First Victim, Kane, and John Hurt. On the audio commentary by director, cast, and crew that was on the 2003 director's cut of Alien, the cast tells their experiences on set, including their experience for one of the most iconic scenes in horror cinema. The scene is titled The Last Supper.
What happened to this guy when he
We see the crew of the Nostromo having a joyful dinner together, celebrating the good health of Kane, who just made it through a life-threatening experience with a dangerous alien.
The first thing that I'm going to do when I get back is to get some decent food.
I can dig it, man. I'm telling you, I've eaten breast food and this, but then I taste it better, you know what I'm saying?
the other one over there?
You pound down the stuff like this.
Listen, I'd rather be eating something else, but right now I'm sticking to food.
You just know you know what it's made of.
No, man. I don't want to talk about what it's made of. I'm eating this. What's the matter? The food ain't that bad, baby.
Everything is well and dandy until Kane starts convulsing, Eventually, Kane ends up on the top of the table with his convulsions getting much worse. They then stop rolling and kick the cast out while they set up the next shot. Ridley Scott knew he had to get the next part in one take. It was going to be a huge mess and it would take too long to clean up. He knew it had to go perfectly. He had sent the cast back to the dressing rooms, and the film crew went to work setting up the next shot. The actors were not allowed to see John Hurt be placed under the table with his head joined to a fake chest. The fake chest was then filled with real animal intestines and had an alien puppet that was being operated from below by a crewman sitting with John. All the cast had written in the scripts were, "It will emerge and turn its head. It will have teeth." They were forced to ponder over what that could mean, and why it was taking hours to set up the next shot. They get back to set, gather around Kane, and resume the scene. They had to stop rolling for a second. The alien had trouble busting through Kane's t-shirt. Ridley Scott came over and cut the shirt slightly to fix the issue. It was during this break Veronica Cartwright was told her character Lambert was going to get a little bit of blood on her. They roll back a little and start the shot again. At this point, they had learned that something was popping out of the chest of Kane, but none of them were prepared for the gory explosion that was set. Not only did blood get on Veronica, but looking at the scene in the movie, it looks like the other actors got caught in the splash zone.
Don't touch it! Don't touch it!
Veronica definitely got more blood on her than she thought.
It was like simple stuff, but it just looked so unbelievable.
How many times do we do that?
Remember that?
Two, three?
Well, no, one time. One time. It was a one-off deal. They started to do it. They realized the shirt wasn't cut enough, so they needed to go back and do that. And then that was a one time. It was, and like 4 cameras. And when I got hit in that face, remember, I backed up. And when and my knees hit the back of that banquette, and I flipped upside down, and my boots were sticking up in the air.
You were immobilized for 4 days. And I thought it was real.
And it shows. Without any preparation for the Academy Award-winning special effects, it shocked the actors of Alien just as much as its audience. If you have any times when actors were kept in the dark on set, or if you have a day on set story of your own, tweet at me. I'm at James Diddick on Twitter. Or depending on where you found this, leave a comment. If you're a fan of this episode, give me a heart, a like, or a thumbs up, and be sure to share it with somebody else who will love it. This has been A Day on Set with James Diddick.